Hey everyone! Our next speaker, David Schofield, is a partner and co-founder at Network Sourcing Advisors, which focuses on contract negotiations. He has over 20 years of experience in network and mobility management, including over 150 contract negotiations. So he knows all about the contracts you've got and all the dirt that vendors can throw in there. In his presentation, Maximizing Wired and Wireless Negotiations, you're going to find out what it takes to get the most out of a multi-million-dollar tech contract and what you need to do now to prepare. As a reminder, we've got this chat room right here and the speaker is in the house. Please press pound, pound, pound to show your applause for our speaker and ask questions because he's right here. Please welcome David Schofield.
Good day, everyone, and thank you for tuning in. Today we're going to speak about maximizing wired and wireless negotiations. My hope is that your time today with this presentation will be valuable and you'll get some good nuggets of information. Negotiating a new agreement with a carrier can be very stressful unless you're one of those people that enjoys making them sweat because you know your numbers. There's the potential to upset a working relationship. There are many times difficult support conversations come up. There are internal power struggles during the bidding process, and sometimes personal relationships that can cause broken glass. Wayne, my partner, and I have found that much of this can be achieved and broken glass avoided by adhering to a process. Timing. Many of you on the call are familiar with the carrier coming with a smoking hot deal to save you 10% 3 months before your contract expires. Doesn't leave you any time to make change. So preparation. Negotiation requires preparation, preparing your questions, but also anticipating their response. What do you want to hear and what exactly did they say? Leverage. We hope to save X%. Hope is not a strategy. We will look at how you generate leverage. The RFP strategy. What's your team up for? How much work do they want to put into it? What is the most important result that you want to get out of it? Then making the case. Who will have an opinion and when will it come? We're all familiar with the last minute. Why wasn't my department included? Any request from a carrier can usually take 3 weeks to get a response, so make sure you have all those questions together. Then making the decision. Who and when is the decision going to be made? Has anyone completed a national or global effort in 90 days? If you have, I'd like to interview you after this. 6 months is more realistic. And if doing it on your own, internal research, all the internal processes, expect no less than 6 months and 1,500 full-time employee hours. That's a lot of time and money diverted from business-related projects. Make sure those with the time can take it on. Eliminate silos. Get everyone on board. It will save you time and build relationships through inclusion. Wired negotiations are very complex, especially now because thousands of your fellow employees who were housed in buildings are still in buildings, but they call it home. This is going to have a huge impact on the market as the carriers attempt to save revenues. A lot of those people aren't coming back. They're going to stay at home. Mid-contract reviews are great. Total volume commitments are as well. Knowing where you are in your spend commitment and potentially burning out your commitment early is a real bonus. So start out 18 months early, 18 months before the end of your contract, spending a little more for a new site that co-terms with your existing sites can pay off should you decide to migrate to another carrier. The carriers know your workload. They spend millions on sales training to understand how to get you to buy. Some use FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Some use your team's conversations at lunch to get advantage, knowing what your workloads are. And how much does your organization actually spend on carrier negotiation? Probably not the millions that the carriers do. Wireless negotiations can have thousands of equivalent sites with the same number of expirations. Timing is really important to gain leverage. You need to keep up on who has what and for how long, and you have to fight device envy in your management. So what's device envy? Someone gets a new device and suddenly everybody else's phone breaks and you're starting up all new contracts again. If you use a telecom expense management vendor or not, we cannot emphasize how important it is to have more than one person in your organization that knows what you have, what's being used, how it's being used, and why it's being used or not. There's a lot of zero usage out there. But these people that know all this are indispensable and key to success. Plus, you need someone that's going to check on the TEM to make sure that everything is in order. Understanding the direction of the business, what are their plans, how does it impact your network and future spend? Are they a media company eliminating satellite trucks to go cellular? Is 80% of your workforce now going to stay home for now or forever? Is a division going to be sold or expect a new division to come on? This is really key to being successful. You do not want to bid out more than you have, and potentially you could split it up. One definitely does not want to commit to more than you have, and your commitment should not exceed 70%. Use this time to compare your technology solutions between carriers. However, there are some very specific financial elements which can make what you thought would be less much more. How does your IVR respond to IP services? Compression levels can impact your costs. Do we really need toll-free anymore since there's ubiquitous wireless nationwide calling? Comes back to knowing your network, what you have, what you really have, and how and why it's in use. For the wireless side, you have COPE. It's the most common setup that we run into. Companies own the phone, they get great discounts, they write off the equipment at the end. BYOD is still a topic of discussion. Stipends can save money on service, but do you take on other costs to secure your network? Corporate and individual spend is really important to look at holistically. If it weren't, why do the carriers want access to your employees and put it in the contract? If a carrier wants to bump the IRU 2 points in your negotiation, how about bumping the corporate 3 points and keep the IRU where it is? Data is driving everything at this point, and potentially it'll be one pipe, and we will just have to manage usage. Data, text, voice, and international are really important to concentrate on, because gone are the days of the top brass wanting a free iPhone and ignoring the other 5,000 users during your negotiation. Benchmarking, getting a market rate on your services is really important. The data has to be current. We cannot stress the value of current numbers. Size does impact your contract. The bigger you are, the less likely you are to leave, or at least they think you will, or they know you won't because they've been talking to people on your team and know what your workload is. The nimble enterprises are getting the best rates, regardless of their size. Small has gotten better than bigger. Many times there's a concern that the vendor will become unresponsive in your quest to negotiate. If that's one of your thoughts, if that's one of your first thoughts, it's probably time for a change. Take command. You're the customer, and this is not a hostage negotiation. Have you met your team's boss in the last 6 months? Last year? Get to the top. Their quotas are bigger, and they want them closed as quickly as possible. Getting to the top is important because combining your wired and wireless spend, especially with one vendor, because at some point the management structure, someone is being compensated for both wired and wireless. Controlling spend is the 2 dogs, 1 bowl. Wayne loves that one. Responsiveness improves if there's something to win. Know how much your combined spending with the carrier is. It can change your perspective. Sometimes you think you know what it is, and then you find out what it really is, where the mistakes are when you do an audit. Know how many clients your team has. If they have very few, say you only have an account team that has 2 or 3 clients, you're really important for them to keep. An informed enterprise is scary. You need to know as much about where you stand because they know that about you. And absolutely inform everyone on your team to avoid talking about the negotiations or how busy they are or how they don't have time for this. That will erode your leverage. All should have the same story. The boss will switch if they get the right deal. Right of first refusal. It's pretty popular. People don't want to leave. But if you make us look, we will. You can clean up and reestablish a relationship. You give them a goal to hit, they hit it, they get to keep the business, and you don't go to RFP. They're same for less. Take it or leave it. We're simple, we have the time, we're willing to make the investment to change. This is more than just financial. This is a relationship, seeing the team at contract time. You can't just see them at contract time. You got to see them all the time. Good opportunity to change teams if you are having a problem. Technology migration, highly complex, requires extensive modeling, potentially a new MSA, not in an amendment. While we mention amendments, though, realize that the 2 pages that you're signing is linked to hundreds of pages in the background. That's that little link that they have. Amendments can have a significant impact on your discounts and other terms that someone prior to you fought for. Study the amendment and what it will unleash within your organization. You may find that there are items that disappear because there's name changes or the contract is specific to certain types of lines. Names change all the time and you don't want to get involved with that. It can be all about the money. You do get what you pay for, just don't overpay for it. Dual network costs. This is the period of time where your new connectivity has to be ordered while the old stuff is still there. Another reason to start early. You may need new boxes, new equipment, redundancy, new ways of getting in. The carriers know what you're going to have to do, and when they go into negotiations, they're going to hold that for their own leverage. What's your workload? Is the carrier supporting us? How difficult will they be when we leave? But probably not too difficult, because someone up top is going to want to get you back if they lose you. Ultimately, what you buy has to fit the business. Is it right fit for the right financial return? Keep in mind that telecom is about 3 to 5% of the SG&A of the company. That's your sales, general, and administrative costs. For some companies, your efforts can actually affect their earnings by a penny on the share. And we all know when someone beats that quarterly report, it's a good way to make yourself more valuable to the CFO. Now, terms and conditions are the written record of the understanding of the people at the time. If the agreement does not say what you want it to say, then it doesn't provide what you want it to provide. Eliminate the we will talk language. Favored nation, the carriers bring you 3 other companies just like yours that are paying too much. Prepare for downturns. It's bad enough things can go south. You don't want to have to blow your budget because of it. Define with the group that all the groups that are involved is in an acceptable result. You want to have IT, finance, procurement, legal, operations. Get legal the contract right at the beginning. Ask for a blank. Let them read it. Get caught up. If everyone is informed of the process, they're involved, they're participating in the weekly calls, and basic contracts are made available to legal early, you can eliminate the silos and gain trust within your enterprise. What do we want to take away from this? You can maximize your telecom negotiations without disrupting the demands of the business. Keep in mind that the carriers spend millions on training every year. How do we know? Count the number of auto replies that say, "We are in training." It's not totally technical training. It's training on how to sell technology. Start early. Know your network. Know what, how, and why it's used. Who needs it? How much it costs. Define your result. What will be your happy place when this is all over? Most enterprise clients go through this every couple to 3 years. The carriers do it every day. Just be confident that you know what you have and that you know what you want. Make new friends in IT, finance, procurement, legal, the five fingers of the hand here. Eliminate the silos, let the other groups in, let them have insight into the process and input. Everyone will learn something, and you can expect to gain trust within, with their IT needs in the future. So thank you for your time today. I really want for your time investment to be valuable going through this. And I'm David Schofield, and for myself and my partner, Wayne Webbers, good luck in your next negotiation. We hope you get what you want and what you deserve.
Thank you so much for that session. That was fantastic. Thank you for attending our session today. Our speaker will be in the chat room until the end of the session time, so please continue the conversation. Also, please join us for the rest of our sessions today. Visit our sponsors, MobiCord, Upland Software, and Vision Wireless, and hang out with us in the networking lounge.